Good afternoon, everyone. My name is DIACONU Maxim, and the paper I am going to present you today is entitled Economic Security from Theoretical Aspects to Empirical Evidences. The process of globalization led to a redefinition of the economic security in light of the risks posed by the cross-border networks of the non-state actors and by the economic volatility of the new global environment. The economic insecurity has increased during the last quarter of the century in the context of the global downturns that affected almost all the countries. Therefore, both policymakers and researchers increased their preoccupations regarding this aspect. Their concerns were related to the fact that uncertain economic prospects leave people worse off. The individuals fear large economic losses and, when they experience such losses, they suffer hardship, especially if the losses are unexpected. The existing literature offers various approaches of the economic security and insecurity and, consequently, different ways of measuring these two concepts. The most known index of the economic security belongs to the Rockefeller Institute, which defined this concept as a measure of the actual occurrence of economic losses rather than of anxiety or fear about such losses. In the present paper, we propose a new index with the help of which we measure the degree of the economic security during time in various European countries. The economic security had many definitions during time. For example, Hacker considered that economic security is the degree to which individuals are protected against hardship-causing economic losses. Meanwhile, Tang considers that the concept of economic security should embrace issues beyond poverty and consider the emergent threats affecting the non-poor. Other authors consider that people living in rich countries may experience a stronger sense of economic security than those in poor nations. Therefore, a high gross national product per capita could be a rough indicator of a country's level of economic security. By contrast, the economic insecurity was defined as the anxiety produced by a lack of economic safety, considered in its turn to be the inability to obtain protection against subjectively significant potential economic losses, or an individual's perception of the risk of economic misfortune. While economic insecurity puts the accent on the economic losses, the economic security is usually associated with certain conditions which could ensure a well-being of the individual. Taking into account all the previous studies, we will develop a composite index of the economic security with the help of the principal component analysis as a starting point. The source of the data is the Eurostat database. The sample There are the 27 European Union countries, and we have chosen three different time frames. 2010, the year in which the effects of the economic and financial crisis were strongly felt, 2017 as a middle point, and 2023, the year for which we had the most recent data. And here you can see the economic security of European households index, and as you can see, it is composed by housing cost overburden rate with a percentage of 4.56%, children aged 0–17 living in jobless households with a percentage of 5.45%, at risk of poverty rate by poverty threshold with a percentage of 9.88%, the overcrowding rate with a larger percentage of 10.11%, the inability to keep home adequately warm with a percentage of 10.57%, the inability to afford a meal with meat, chicken, fish every second day with a percentage of 10.73%, inability to make ends meet with a percentage of 11.09%, whereas with a percentage of 11.19%, the inability to afford paying for 1 week annual holiday away from home with a percentage of 13.13%, and in the end, the inability to face unexpected financial expenses with a percentage of 13.29%. Our results show a geographical dichotomy in terms of European economic security. This means that countries in Western and Northern Europe generally have higher economic security scores than countries in Eastern and Southern Europe. And also, the south part of the European Union represents the region where the household's economic security is the most unstable. Thank you very much for your attention.